Welcome to the Nice Hair Podcast. I'm Hannah.
I'm Haley.
This is a weekly podcast where we talk about business building,
Some hair, some social media,
and our lives.
and how it all ties back to hair.
Always about hair.
But not always.
Sometimes hair.
Sometimes we're nice.
Audio is rolling.
We are, oh my gosh, I just feel like I don't know how to use a microphone right now.
I know, I feel awkward. What does buenas noches mean?
Good night.
Good nachos.
I almost said that as like a greeting. I was like, I don't think that's right.
You can if it's evening.
We could pretend it's evening.
Buenas noches. I just really like saying that.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
We missed you guys.
I feel quiet.
I kind of feel quiet too.
Can we, Drake, can you turn my mic up a little bit? Thank you. No, that's too loud. Thank you. Sorry, that's way too loud.
I like mine loud. I'm good. I thought
better.
I wanted
Yeah,
my
that's
ears not loud.
Thank you,
and
Dylan.
I like
You're
it.
welcome.
Hi, guys. We missed you so much.
A lot.
It's so good to be back. Life kind of happened.
Yeah, my son got sick, and then the next week, what happened?
I think that was...
Then I got sick.
Yeah, I don't know. It was rough.
Yeah, it was weird.
We've had a weird few weeks, and...
Did I tell you
we're
what I
back.
did to my car?
Yeah,
That was like the start of all of it. My son got sick, and then I drove my car straight into a tire jack pole. So like there's like a tire jack, and it's sitting straight up. Well, it like fell down, and it was horizontally like laid out, and I didn't see it. I literally drove the front of my car straight into it. My radiator busted. My
And this
air
is
conditioning
your new car.
Yeah, my air conditioning system busted, and all the lines to my air conditioning system busted. So there was like all this fluid and smoke and stuff everywhere. And I was like, I don't think I can drive my car. My husband's like, don't turn your car on, okay? Like,
What
because there was
would
like
have
smoke
happened?
and stuff. It could just overheat my
And
motor.
explode.
Yeah, because there was no like coolant or anything in my car.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you made it out of there.
Yeah, insurance paid for it all.
Wow.
Yeah, I have that good like accidental like you're clumsy bitch insurance.
Thank
I was like, how do you
goodness.
drive your car straight into just this pole like that? And they're like, we got ya.
Done a lot of questionable things behind the wheel of a car, so...
So, yeah,
We're back. Anyways, we missed you guys.
here we are.
We missed each other. It was like a family reunion when we
We did.
got back.
We didn't see each other for a couple weeks, and then we got our hair done together a couple days ago, which was nice, and now we're here.
And we're here.
Actually, when we were doing each other's hair a couple days ago, Haley was showing me a conversation she was having with someone that was looking to be her client, and we were just both so kind of shook by this conversation that we're like,
Yeah.
we should talk about this on the podcast.
Just taken back. So, and I'm not saying this happens, especially I think not just in hair, but in any service-based industry. I think it's funny though, for some reason people think that our pricing and the value that we put on ourselves and our business is negotiable. Is negotiable?
Yeah, sounds
whatever.
right.
But I think it's funny that if you literally look at it in any other job, to come at somebody, to go to you're in the ER visiting and you have a nurse and you're like, yeah, but like, I'm going to need you to take a 50% cut of whatever your hourly rate is or your salary or whatever to take care of me.
Or
That's not acceptable.
no,
Or like you
me
don't.
fucking my car up is a perfect example. I would never walk into Acura of Dayton and be like, here's my budget. I know I messed this up, but I can't. I need you to fix this, but I can't pay for all that. And we have clients do that legit to us all the time.
I will say I actually don't. I don't get that.
Well, I
a
feel
lot.
like we used to.
Yeah. Okay,
Like,
we used to.
Coming up, you kind of do, and then you hit a plateau where people are like more respectful.
Yeah. I think that's why I was so taken back by it, because it doesn't happen frequently to me. So as I was getting these messages, I was just like, this has to be a joke.
And it was a very familiar outline to me, like what I was reading, I was like, oh, I've had this type of conversation, and it's just, it never like is not mind blowing.
I agree.
Kind of set the frame for like maybe as hairstylists, I don't know. I kind of want to like walk people through exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. So when I first started doing hair extensions, I will be 100% honest. I priced myself blindly. I had no idea where my pricing should be. I was given a pricing model that I could follow if I if I wanted to.
Was that mine?
No, that was mine. Let me just turn my sound off. I'm so sorry.
No, you're right. How dare you have an electronic device?
I know, with the sound on. So I honestly was probably losing money when I first started doing extensions. And I think that's something a lot of people are struggling with, and not necessarily even just in doing extensions, in any type of service. Color, yeah. But even outside of that, you know?
Anytime you're showing up with a advanced skill and you are giving your time.
Yes.
That's a cost.
So,
right there.
Yeah. So, over time, as I, got into extensions more, as I started understanding my business, my numbers more, obviously I had to adjust my pricing to match, what was going on in my business.
Growing demand for your time and service.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I have a high price point, and I am aware of that.
I don't even think it's that. I honestly don't think it's that crazy high. I think
it's reasonable.
Yeah, I absolutely think it's reasonable, and we can talk about this on another podcast, but I think people lose sight of the fact that if you just wrote this down on paper, we are taking human hair from across the world and placing it in a manner that other people will not be able to detect that it's not your human hair. We're placing it on your head to match color, to match like the placement and the look and the texture, to make it wearable for you and comfortable. Like that. Oh, like what?
Yeah.
Like we're literally, it's like a prosthesis. Like
I don't even know what that word means, but
like a prosthesis, like a what's it called, Dylan?
Fake limbs.
Thank you. We're like, yeah, I didn't say it right. I'm sorry.
No, you probably did, and I just don't know.
It's just mind blowing to me that people forget that this is human hair from a human just like you, from across the world, that got sanitized and colored and like treated in a manner that you and me as pretty little princesses can walk around and feel our best.
Yeah.
It's a luxury, and it's not to be treated lightly. And I think because hair extensions are so common now, people are they act like it's a pedicure.
Right. Well, and I think
that was my soapbox.
The consumer has no idea truly just how expensive even just the hair is.
I'm writing an article about this right now. That's why I'm...
Yeah, and so you're spending, for an average client wanting to add length, and we'll go with 18 inches, just the hair itself is going to range anywhere from, I would say, average is $1,000 to $1,400, and that's 18 inches. If you add 22s, it's even more. It's longer.
We could easily, I keep my my markup on my hair very reasonable. I think most of us do, but we could easily mark it up more because it's that great of quality, because we stand behind it, and because
of the work that we put into making sure it's blended.
And just with the hair itself too, we have access to very exclusive hair. So it's like
you guys, to be able to use the hair that we use Covet and Maine. We're obsessed with them. We had to get on a wait list. We had to be approved by them. We had to get on a phone call with their corporate office. They had to look at our Instagrams. They had to look into our businesses for us to even be able to use their hair. It's
And we're not saying that because it's like it means anything about us. It's just I think sometimes with businesses you don't see the back story or the work that goes into it, because there are people who are like, yeah, I do extensions, who are ordering off of wherever, Glam Seamless or whatever site you can think of that sells hair to the masses of unprofessional people and just sticks it on somebody's head.
Absolutely. So I think there are just so many different factors that people aren't necessarily aware of. And obviously it's our job to educate them on that. But then you have different things that come into factor when it comes into your pricing. When you're self-employed, the things you factor in are, okay, your cost of color, what is your rent? What is your time worth? What is your, how much do you pay your assistant? Yeah, like these are all factors that play into exactly how much you're charging. And if you're not charging based on those things, I encourage you to sit down and reevaluate what you're basing your pricing on. It shouldn't be based on the girl right beside you or the girl down the street. It shouldn't be based on your biggest competitor. It needs to be based on hard, factual numbers.
I think it's good too. That's a great point to bring up. I think it's good to remember too that like it's not serving you to do a quick internet search of what the salon up the street is charging for like a package pricing for like a first time hand-tied extension client, because what I do, and I couldn't even compare this to anyone else, and I think this is a great place to start, is I take my weekly rent, so I pay my rent weekly at my studio suite.
Yeah.
I take that and I literally divide it by 7, because I'm like, it's my studio suite, I have it 7 days a week, and I figure out how much I pay to per day.
Be there per day.
Yeah, so that's what I do. And then, so I know when I walk in every day, I know I'm paying this amount of dollars just to stand here in my studio suite, Yeah. So like that has to be taken into account, because if not, that number gets lost and then you forget to account for that and to charge that. So I think that's a great place to start, to just say, okay, I'm standing here right now. This is $72 and I haven't even touched anything or whatever,
right?
Yeah. So that, I think just dialing it back and being like, I have to pay just to be able to do my work. Right. So like that's how you kind of base your prices on. And then I go so far as to say, okay, well, if I'm paying my assistant, whatever, we'll just say $10 an hour, and I'm paying, $50 an hour to be in this space, that's $60 an hour, or that's $60 a day. And then my assistant, if she's with me for 5 hours, that's $50. So like, you have to kind of think about that when you service people, but you have to also think that client is getting a different experience. Like in my example, they're getting a different experience with me because they're in a quiet space. It's a very intimate atmosphere. They have me and another assistant that's working on them. They're not in a busy, hectic salon. And with my clients like that. Some clients like big salons, and I totally get that, because I like real social places too sometimes. But you have to remember that if a client is with you, they've chosen to be with you, and they're not so much breaking down the price as much as you are. But until you get a client that maybe isn't a great fit for you.
Yeah. So those are important things that you don't necessarily think of as being important when you are factoring in your pricing. And those aren't things that clients are even thinking of, nor is it their job to.
No,
so that's why you have to do it. If you're not doing it, nobody's going to do it for you.
And we're kind of talking to stylists right now. I would never have this conversation with a client, because it's not, I don't expect them to break down their hourly or the numbers of their job to me.
I don't expect them to until they want a 50% discount on my service.
Right. Okay, get back to that. You're right, girl.
So I had done a call. I do all my consultations over the phone, and I had scheduled a call with this girl. We hit it off great. She was struggling. She was wearing extensions, and she wasn't happy with them. We had gone over pricing in the call, and just kind of chatted about it. There wasn't much of a concern there.
I didn't know you had a conversation with her on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
Was she friendly on the phone?
Well, yeah, we were on the phone for probably 30 minutes. Like, we clicked.
To me, I'm like, that's 30 minutes of your time, too, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Like, which we're happy to do, but it's like, I'm sure you explained things pretty good.
You can usually wrap up a call in about 15 minutes.
Yes.
And that's including booking your appointment, booking your follow-up appointment, answering questions, concerns. So it was an abnormally long call. It was more just listening to her vent. If, and like I said, she did have questions over pricing. Her goal, she wanted 22 extensions. She's getting married in a few months, I think, or maybe next year. I don't exactly remember, but, and she was unhappy with her extensions currently and the services that she had previously. So I, give her my pricing. I give her a couple dates, and normally somebody just books on a call right then and there. They're usually ready to book. She was not. She said, I need a couple days. And I said, that's totally fine. So the day she told me that, we'd be touching base, I hadn't heard from her. So I just reached out. I said, hey, I just want to let you know I have some calls set up, and I wanted to give you first dibs to put your deposit down today before I hop on these calls.
And that was super awesome of you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we hit it off so well that I really enjoyed talking to her. So I was like, yeah, like normally I really don't do that. If I hang up the phone.
That hurts even more, man.
It doesn't
hurt. That makes me think about it differently even. I'm like, dang, you had like a call with her. Y'all were, you got along. Yeah.
So, and she's like, okay, well, something else came up, whatever, pushed it a couple more days, which is, again, totally fine. So I'm like, I can't save this date for you, but whatever. So I get the string of text messages from her because now, we'd already been on a call. She has my cell phone number. We're able to text. And she wanted to know what would be due after the deposit. So I give her the total. And she's like, that really seems like a lot. Could you please break down your pricing for me?
How do you feel about that question?
I never mind that question.
Okay.
At all. Because if you're pricing your services correctly, your breakdown
will make sense.
And it all should add up. If somebody asks you to break down your pricing and you're panicking, go back to the drawing board. That should not
just
make
shift
you
some
freak
numbers
out.
around. Yeah.
Yeah. And just be upfront.
Yeah. Make it make sense. But right. It's not that hard to be like, oh, I haven't raised my color services in 9 months and I've taken 2 color classes since then. Like easily just raise them $50.
Right.
Because you've learned $50 worth of,
So,
I think we just forget to do that kind of stuff sometimes.
Agree. But so I break it down for her. This amount is just the hair alone. Then this is what you'll be paying for color. This is what you'll be paying for move up, blah, 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 blah. And the response back, and this is where red flags really started going off for me. It was like, well, that must be some really good hair. Pause.
Well, yeah, we'll take a
moment
of peace, okay?
Well,
for that really good hair, because it is actually.
Here's the thing. I get that because I've had a lot of clients come in who have been told they're getting one kind of hair and they're being given garbage hair. So,
or you're like,
to
it looks
her
okay
benefit
right now, but in like 6 weeks, this is going to look like trash ass hair.
To her benefit, I get it. I get that question. Yes, it 100% is really great hair. So I'm like,
and that's, you could say, okay, that's just a question. Sure.
Yeah, that's just a question.
Great
So
hair.
I'm like,
but the way she phrased it, I think is kind of backhanded.
For sure. So,
My mic sounds like it's going
then
in
I get,
I don't know why.
I said, yeah, it is great hair. And I said, I'm happy to refer you if this isn't working.
Like several times.
Yeah. So she then says, I would love to come to you. I really would. It's just with the expense of my wedding, I'm used to paying X amount for the hair, and then I'm used to paying X amount for the service, bringing my total to X amount.
She was giving you her budget.
100% she was.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? Her budget was, $1,300 cheaper than my pricing. So at this point, like, I'm pissed, honestly. I'm like, how?
So she's pretty much like, Haley, I really like you. Your work's amazing. I want to come to you. That must be some really really nice hair. She also said too, that must be some really amazing color, because you were like, this is my color pricing. And
did she?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I was so touched in the wrong places by that. Like, I was agitated. I was like, yeah, you said, yes, it is really good color.
I don't remember that part.
But to your benefit. And I was just like, I just cannot imagine. I don't mind confrontation, you know this, but I cannot imagine seeing the facts of someone's pricing and then having the
audacity
to then question their pricing because I know that they're a small business. Like, I just think people weren't raised right, honestly. I honestly don't know what other explanation there is for it. Like, who's their parents?
Yeah.
Who are her parents?
Well, so I'm pissed, and my only response was that my pricing is non-negotiable. So she asked for a referral. And I think this was the day I was doing your hair.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in the middle of something and didn't get back to her right away. So I got another text later. So I hadn't responded. I got another message later, and she says...
Ooh, see, I haven't gotten the update on this.
She says something along the lines of, so what is the brand of hair you use? If it's really good, I might still consider it, was the message that I got.
Yeah. I can't remember this.
And I like paused because I was like, at this point, you're just being rude.
It's rude, yeah.
And you might still be considering it, but I am no longer considering you.
Mm-hmm.
And so my reply was...
What's the reason for not considering her? Like, what, as a stylist, when someone presents you with a question about your pricing, you are straightforward with them, very polite, and then they come, they're like, I can't afford that. And then they come back and they're like, okay, actually I do want to.
So the reason I will always break down my pricing. I'll always be very upfront because I know extensions are expensive. They're a luxury. They should be expensive. And we're not at a flea market. We're not haggling things here.
No. We're not at Walmart. We're not doing price checks. We know.
No, but even freaking Walmart, you don't walk into Walmart and say to the cashier, yeah, I want this for 50% off. They're going to look at you and laugh.
And even if you do, if you're like, there's a scratch right here, they still have to be like, oh, okay, well, now everyone behind you has to wait in line because I have to get a manager who may or may not approve
just like, go
whatever
get a different
situation.
One.
Yeah, you have.
So I think the reason it's like that I'm not considering her at this point, she's not my ideal client. She's not my target. She's not who I'm marketing to, truthfully.
Why?
Because
as a stylist with self-respect, why would you not want that client?
Okay. And I say this, and I hope you guys understand how I'm saying this. When I want clients who, and it's not that money doesn't matter, because money matters. Everybody
Absolutely.
works hard.
We're in business
for their money to earn what they do. Absolutely. So I am flattered when somebody wants to spend their hard-earned money in my chair. It's truly the greatest honor. And then for them to continue sitting in my chair, I can't tell you how much that means to me. But I want somebody who values what I do as a service. Are they going to say, wow, yeah, that is expensive, but you know what? You are worth it. The time that you take with me, or the fact that I can reach out to you and say, hey, this is weird, or this is a question that I have. Like, I value that. I want a customer that want somebody in my chair who truly trusts me and values what I do. I'm not interested in somebody who is constantly trying to negotiate pricing with me. That's not my ideal client. When I first started taking extensions, would I have probably done something like that? Yeah, because I didn't know any better.
I have in the past. I mean, I've not stood strong in my pricing and let people intimidate me and question me and then question myself and lowered my prices. And I always feel super shitty about it. And I always feel super shitty about our relationship.
And then you are automatically resentful towards that client.
Because you didn't
stand in your boundary.
Respect your pricing.
And which is your own fault.
Yeah, it's your
truthfully.
fault. Yes,
you know, so, but you're just mad at the client because they even asked. So
just take the emotion out of it.
So that's, again, like why she's just not my target client. My target client, their first question isn't, okay, well, exactly how much is it? They're like, no, like, I love your work. Okay, like, I know this is going to be an investment. And here's the thing, you guys, my pricing is laid out before I'm even hopping on a call with somebody. It's there for you to see. And I do that so that for somebody who is like, they're like, oh, I'm not going to be able to afford that. We're not wasting each other's time. I think very intentional.
I think that's what I actually wrote down. I think that there's a huge thing that's happening in hair extensions right now. And I think the problem is people are not making their pricing available straight off the rip. You have to go through a 25-page application.
You feel super strongly about this.
I fucking hate it. Yeah. It's so dumb, Haley, because it makes no sense. And I get it. We can't quote people based on an internet search, but we have a range and it's very clear. Yeah. My range is for 18-inch extensions, whatever. I think 1,600 to 2,800. Right. That's a range. Here it is. If you can't afford that, then you can move on. Right. It's a respectful thing.
And I think the strategy behind that, it's a sales strategy.
I don't care about the fucking funnel of it. It's stupid. Nobody wants to do that.
I'm neutral towards it. I have mine laid out because I truly don't want to waste anybody's time.
I also feel like too, for clients, I tell my existing clients this all the time. If they ever have pricing questions, do you know what they do? They hop on my Instagram or on my website. They click the one-page link that I have there. And if you scroll down to the bottom, it has all my current color pricing, all my current move-up pricing, my current 18-inch and 22-inch hair pricing. That way, they don't have to be like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. Or like, they don't even have to send me a text if they're looking to their next appointment. They can just hop on that link really quick and be like, okay, I'm going to get color and I have 2 rows.
It just takes the guessing out.
It's also polite. And that way I don't have to text every single client individually all the time when, it's there.
So, no, you're fine. My ideal client just isn't somebody that is going to go back and forth with me over pricing, truly. Same. And when somebody is like, this is getting to be too expensive for me, I completely understand.
Yeah. We're not like,
it's not, I don't take it personally. Whoops. Mm-hmm. I don't, I'm not offended. I get it. Life happens.
There's things we can't afford or don't want to spend money on. Like, it's a choice.
Yeah. If somebody's like, Haley, I'm buying a house. I can't wear my hair. Duh. Of course you're going to take your hair out. Yeah. I get it. I would feel weird taking your house money for your hair.
Yeah. Or if that's not budgeted in, like, we might see you again next year.
Yeah. Who knows? Life,
you might get a raise and come back. Who cares? Yeah.
So that's not my ideal client. So this to me, so it's like huge red flag. I don't remember where I left off.
Sorry.
With the story. No, you're fine. But it was like, I said, I'm no longer considering you. So I replied back and I said, you know what, going forward, we're not going to be a good fit. So I will happily refer you. I gave her, I think 4 to 5 different names of people that I would recommend in Columbus and the surrounding area. And then I just said, good luck. And
you genuinely meant it. You're like, here's some people that I don't know specifically what their pricing is, but it's maybe a little bit different. Like, here's a good place to start shopping around. Because you could have just said,
and that's the thing. I don't know other people's pricing. So I could be referring you because I think.
But you're giving her kind of a starting place.
Yeah, exactly. So here is the thing that because I've been thinking a lot about this scenario because I know there are people who deal with this so much more frequently than I do. I've been doing extensions for 3 years and color for longer. And this is honestly the first time anybody has ever tried to negotiate or ask something of me like this. And I honestly think, one, it's because it's over text message.
Agreed.
I'm very good at boundaries, and I have no problem just saying no. So for
You've
somebody,
helped me, honestly, like
good.
Yeah, no, you've helped me like maintain a good attitude about it, but just separate my emotion and just be like, it's not personal to me or you. Like, these are just my prices.
Yeah,
and that doesn't mean I don't like you or you don't like me. Like,
exactly,
this is just what I charge.
This is just where I'm at.
My time.
Yeah. But I know that there are just so many people who deal with this on a regular basis, and there's two problems here. But I actually think the first problem is the stylist.
Yeah, because it's helped me. Honestly, like, I've dealt with it less since I've kind of learned from you to just be like, like recently I raised my prices, and Kenzie Davis, when I trained with her, she helped me with this too. It's just prices. Like, it's not, it's not. So like, I'm just like, I did this, and I'm still a lovely person, and so are you. And
right.
But
I think the problem lies. Clients are asking these questions because somebody has said yes at some point to negotiating their pricing. So it's not the client's fault, you guys. It's our fault as stylists.
It's a community of stylists.
100%.
Who don't respect their own work.
Yeah. You guys, the second you are taking a discount, you are negotiating your pricing with a client, you are devaluing yourself and your service.
And the entire industry.
Yeah. And that client, they might not say it. They don't need to. They will never respect any sort of firm pricing or anything that you try to come at them. Again, good luck raising your pricing after that, ever with that person. Because they're going to know.
I'm sorry. No need to say anything.
They're going to know, okay, yeah, but you're raising your pricing, but hey, not for me.
Right.
People truly, truly think that. But you're the one that is letting them think that.
Like, you make the rules and you just let them cheat on you.
Absolutely.
Here's a perfect example of this, Haley. And this is how twisted this is. I had a client in yesterday. She's amazing. I love her. She's a personal trainer. She's in the fitness community, doing great, which is also a self-employed type situation.
Yeah.
She said, I always thought, like, if I didn't do fitness, I think I would do hair, because like, she was like,
a lot of clients that say that too.
Okay, this is what followed. She said, and I used to think like this too, trust me. So this is nothing, like, it's just is what it is. She said, I think because I'm so social and because I have so many friends and such a great network, like, I would have an easy time making clientele. I paused with her right there. I said, you don't want your friends as your clientele. And she just looked at me like, what? I said, you don't want to do your friend's hair. And she was like, oh. And I said, and she was like, why? I was like, because friends want a discount. Like, friends aren't your client. They're your friend. Yeah. Yeah. And she was like, you could see
it was like a light bulb.
Yeah, because she was like, you're right. I don't like training my friends. I said, why don't you like training your friends? She said, because, yeah. She's like, because I feel bad charging them. I said, yeah, sis, like, you don't want to do your friend's hair. I'm not in business to be with my friends all day. If me and my clients get along, holler. That's awesome. Like,
it means you're doing a good job of marketing to your ideal client.
But I can be friendly with my clients, but I don't want to start out as friends and then have you change into a client, because then monies can get weird. And also, if someone's really your friend, they should want to pay, like, my best friend would pay me twice as much, if she wanted hair extensions.
This subject fires me up so much. It makes my hands are sweating right now.
Because money is just, I think with women too, there's a distinction between like men in small businesses and women in small businesses sometimes too. And this is just the way it is too. But like, I think dudes have an easier time being like, hey, this is what it is. And other dudes are like, yeah, it's money. And then there's friendship. Yeah. But like with girls, it's like, we're like supposed to be like girl and power, like support each other. I'm like, no, you fucking support me financially with the service that I'm providing you for an equal exchange for the service I'm providing you.
Absolutely.
And we can still be friends.
Well, I'll relate this point back to even when I was moving into the direction of only offering hair extensions, just to your point where I think women struggle with this more. You know, I had some clients who had a very, very hard time with the fact that I was not going to be any longer doing their hair. Every single one of my male clients that I told, and I had a lot of male clients, I actually loved doing men's hair. It was really fun for me. I think barbering is fascinating.
Me too.
So every single one of them was like, well, yeah, like I get it.
They're
If
like,
you can,
the numbers. Yeah, I get it, bro.
because it's like, for some reason, that just clicks and registers with them so much more.
I would black and white.
Yeah, like they're like, oh no, it's not personal. But I think for a lot of time for women, it just gets a lot more personal. Right? So,
I mean, I hate emotions like that. Like, I'm like, are you done? Are you done with your emotions? Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. Like, I'll sit here.
gosh.
I'll be waiting. I respect emotions. I have them.
Yeah.
But like, I'm also extremely rational in thought. And I want to get down to like what we're actually talking about in every situation, which in business is money.
What about can I bring my own hair?
Absolutely not.
I've had that before.
No, I'm so sorry.
I've had that twice.
Yeah, unfortunately, I provide a full service, which includes the access to very exclusive hair. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, I had a client do that to me maybe a year and a half ago. I was like, she's like, I really like this Stacey Styles hair. I think I want to try it. I only say this in this voice because this client is not my client. We were not a good fit. And I was like, pardon? Like, I almost like, it caught me off guard. Yeah. I was like, no.
Yeah.
So, anywho.
So, I just think as stylists, like, a lot of things come back to boundaries. You have to have boundaries. You have to stand firm.
A part of boundaries for me is providing my pricing up front on my social media and on my website. That to me is like it's like a metal detector where like, if you want to continue through this with me and pass through this, like this is what you have to know and you have to see.
Yeah.
So that's like a filter for me. And I think that would do a lot of stylists who maybe are not super confrontational, but who are ready to stand firm in their pricing. I think if you can provide that pricing online or on your social media, that number one, people respect that because they can see right off the bat, this is what I'm looking at. And that will help you stay more firm in your pricing as a stylist. Agreed. I think stylists don't provide pricing a lot right off the rip because they're still willing to work at the flea market with their hair.
You might be right.
You know, because like if you put that pricing out there, then I know 8 out of 10 people who look at my website are like, oh, that's too expensive. But also I only want those 2 clients.
Exactly. That's the thing. You're going to, when you raise your pricing or when you start standing firm in your pricing, you're going to lose some people.
Because you're making a statement. This is what I'm
absolutely. But you have to also think and consider for every, if you're doing 4 clients at a discount or not charging what you should, you might only need 1 client to make up for the money that you're losing. Well, that 1 client could equal those 4 clients. So, okay, 1 lead here is going to be way more valuable than 5.
Yeah. No, I agree. And it's going to be someone who sees the value in you, who respects you, who's not going to waste your time texting you at 9 p.m. at night asking you silly questions. And then you're resentful towards them because you gave them a discount. If one of my clients texts me right now at 7:00 on a Friday, I'm happy to get back with them because you know what? We respect each other.
Yeah.
Like there's a mutual respect there. I don't have that resentment anymore. I have in the past. But that's why it's so important to get yourself out of that space. I think too, just living in a different mindset where you have a valuable service to give and you price yourself appropriately, and then you just sit there and continue to market yourself and wait, and you don't become desperate or start to worry. You keep the faith of, this is what I'm doing the right thing.
You'll start attracting the client that you want. It just might take time.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys, if you don't find the value, not just in your service, but in yourself, if you're not finding that for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot expect your client to
Mm-hmm.
at all. That they're not going to, because you don't think you're worth the money that you're charging. And that sucks.
It does.
But your client's not automatically going to think that either, because you don't. And the things that you believe about yourself, you portray in how others view you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it blows my mind how many of these girls, I think it hurts because we've been in that space, but I see
100%.
these awesome girls that have like faith in so many other ways, you know, like they support their husbands in their work, or they go to church and they have faith in a religion or whatever, but then they show up at work and they don't have faith that like there will be clients provided to them if they continue to believe and have faith in themselves. And that's what it really is believing in.
Yeah.
You know, like people are successful because there is some sort of belief that whatever they're about is valuable.
Totally.
So I think, it comes back to mindset and to doing the work so that you actually know that you're worth that, instead of being like, this is what other people are charging. I took a 2-hour class and I can like kind of provide this service.
Yeah.
And then it's just about making it about money, but not being greedy. Like you're in business to make money, but you can't go
feel
into
guilty about that.
Yeah, you can't go into business being like greedy as fuck about stuff and being like, I see other people making thousands of dollars doing hair extensions. That's what I want to do. It's like, dial it back. Like, why do you want to do hair extensions? Do you want to be the best at hair extensions, or you just want to fuck it up and take people's money and then deal with it?
I also don't think you have to do hair extensions
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, but I think that's a thing right now that people think like
they have to.
Yeah. To build a successful business, I truly don't think you need to specialize in hair extensions.
Or they
just
think
sidebar.
You just make lots of money because you do hair extensions. I'm like,
not if your pricing's wrong. Let me tell you what.
Also, I'm like, you make lots of money if you're good, if you're great, if you stand out.
Oh God.
You know, but like you don't make lots of money being super shitty at hair extensions, taking one hair extension client a month, and that's an 8-hour day. You know, like that's not even worth it.
No, and yeah, because like if you break that down per hour, oh my gosh.
No, because Haley and I do 3 hair extension clients in an 8-hour day. Not because we're like amazing or anything, but like because that's all we do. So our timing is set, and that's like, we're not faking it. Like that's what we do.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's so many thoughts going through my head right now. Because it's just,
I feel fired up.
I know.
And a little bit hungry.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So to wrap this up, I know we didn't get off track because it's all,
we didn't.
It's all together.
I really like this episode, you guys. I
love how you always say that. How in my mind, I'm like, are we just like bitching the whole time? And then Haley will always end on, she'd be like, I just really feel great about this episode. I'm like,
well, because here's the thing, you guys, like we get a lot of questions. We get these questions in our messages, and these are things that we deal with, and it's not bitching. It's educating. Like, it's sharing.
It's troubleshooting with you guys.
Exactly. Like, we had to figure this out for ourselves. And if we can help one person learn from the things that we had to go through to not do it, to just be like 4 steps ahead of where we were, then I did what I wanted to do.
And sometimes you just don't even realize, like, I mean, I was doing fine. And then when I kind of started hanging out with you and your boundaries are so firm, I was like, oh, that's something I could get better at, you know? So like we could,
I think it's just also really important to keep in mind, you guys, nobody else, and I say this all the time, but you are where you are, good, bad or medium because of you. Okay. Like the choices you make, the decisions you make, the boundaries you have or you don't have, and you can't put that blame on anyone else. And that's one of the things, because we were chatting about this beforehand. I'm like, you want to blame the client, truly. You want to, I want to blame this girl that texted me for her asking. But you know what? It doesn't hurt to ask. In her mind, the worst I'm going to say is no.
I blamed her parents.
I don't blame her. I don't even do that. I blame the stylists that have let her get away with that previously.
Mm-hmm.
She is asking because it's previously worked for her.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just shooting her shot, man, just like everybody else is.
Yep.
So
it's like when kids are bad. You're like, kids are bad because their parents have allowed them to be bad.
Oh my gosh.
So
don't get me started on that.
No, but it's the same thing.
Right.
It's a trained behavior.
Yes.
Yeah. That has been successful in the past.
For this person. So it's easy to want to blame the client. It's easy to be bitter at the client. But to me, it's honestly not really their fault. It's worked somewhere. She's done this. She's asked this kind of question to somebody else previously.
Who wasn't firm in their pricing and negotiated with her.
Absolutely. And, that's fine.
Okay.
That's okay.
So yeah, just changing these negotiation.
You guys, just once you start valuing what you have to offer, I promise you, it's insane. Not just what it does for your business. Like, dude, screw the money. It's insane what it does for you, for yourself.
There's like a peace that comes over you.
My gosh, yeah, there is.
Because also you don't have to bring that person's energy into your space now.
I can't tell you. It's so nice walking into work, truly loving walking in, loving and being excited to see your clients for the day and knowing like this, I get to make money on top of this.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just the benefit. Mm-hmm. But it took a long time to get to this point. So
I agree.
Anyways, we love you guys. We're glad to be back.
So happy. We're going to eat.
Yeah, we're going to order some food, maybe do a little mini episode while we wait for our food.
Let us know if you guys have any questions about...
Send them to the Nice Hair email.
Yep, nicehairpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know if you have questions about pricing, about how to stand firm in your pricing, how to structure your pricing, or how to speak with clients about it.
I don't really want to help you structure your pricing if I'm being honest.
I have websites that I've written down actually that are good tools.
Okay, maybe we could put those in the notes.
Yeah.
But if you guys want help finding boundaries, I'm all about a boundary.
Hers is all about a boundary.
All right, guys, we love you so much.
Love you.
We can't wait to chat next week.
See ya.
Bye.